The convergence of media and commerce are really no longer evolving because they have converged to the point where they are one and the same. Commerce is media. Every impression can convert. The consumer journey, which has long stopped being a linear experience, isn't really a journey anymore. What we as marketers define as our KPIs, the outcomes we're looking to drive, can be accomplished in many ways, but all in the same place if we so desire. We can create awareness all the way through to conversion with one video, with one experience within an e-commerce site or a shopping environment. So the opportunity to create content, to drive reach and distribution in the traditional media format is no longer the same process, it's no longer the same experience that planners, strategists, and creatives, whether at a brand or at an agency, are trained to do. We are learning on the fly.
Let's dive in a little bit more to that idea of how just one video alone can travel so much farther than a video in the past. Channels have been fragmenting. That is the world we live in right now. Audiences are everywhere. So what's the playbook for making sure that that brand message in that video stays coherent?
It's going to be nearly impossible at this point to create a continuous or consistent message across every channel. It's just unrealistic because consumers don't follow those traditional patterns in how they engage, where and how they connect, and what they're consuming. So the opportunity right now for us is to focus more on context, delivering a message in the moment in a place that is contextually relevant and maybe even contextually continuous. As the data that we have access to gets better and faster, and as the content gets more creative and better targeted, we have not just an opportunity, but maybe even an obligation to throw that playbook out the window and think about where we are at the moment in connection with a consumer so that each video tells a story, but watching video or engaging with content in succession as you move within a site or an app or across sites and apps and experiences in the real world, deliver on that contextual continuity.
Nice way to tie all that fragmentation together. Another anxiety-inducing aspect of this new creative landscape that the marketers have at their fingertips is the idea of creator partnerships and the relationships that they have to form. How does that work in terms of looking conversely at the traditional media buys that are still a major part of building brand reach?
Creators have become a foundational pillar in a marketer's toolkit, but not in a way that you might imagine as folks like me who kind of grew up in this industry over the last few decades. They are both creator and they are media. They are brand and they are performance. The divisions that we falsely attribute to content, to creative, to media, don't apply to creators. Why? Because they are influencers, they are curators who can transcend those traditional boundaries in ways that, yes, we can amplify incredible content from creators with some brand funding. Yes, we can ensure that the targeting on different channels goes beyond just their own following and their own reach that they've built. So we have to think beyond that landscape to a broader ecosystem. Where will creators make the most impact and achieve the objectives and outcomes that their brand partners are looking to? Yes, they can help with awareness, but engagement, the content they create is naturally engaging. It's more natural, it's relevant, it's something that we want to be a part of, we want to consume more of. It's the reason why we scroll endlessly, but it's also the reason why 80% of all the content consumed online right now is video. Because the authenticity in seeing a face and seeing emotion can transcend any actor, any static creative, any billboard, any piece of content that we were creating 5, 10, 15 years ago.
Well, audiences are everywhere, as we just discussed. AI is also everywhere right now. What role do you see for AI in terms of media planning or creative execution? And where do humans fit in at this point in the future?
As I've gotten to work with and even build AI in the tools that we build and the tools that we use, I think what we realize is that AI is not actually a tool anymore. We used to say it's a tool. It is far beyond any one tool, beyond any one process. So it can help us create, it can help us amplify, it can help us automate, it can help us accelerate and optimize all the things that humans were doing. It can help in a number of different ways. So each of us in this marketing landscape and ecosystem has a set of tasks, have responsibilities, we have projects, we have deadlines, we have goals that we need to hit, and we need to understand what technology is available to us to improve any one of those, whether it's creative or acceleration or reach and distribution or optimization. And we have to be curious, we have to learn, but we really need to always keep an open mind, keep a positive attitude, and realize that mistakes will be made along the way. But AI as a umbrella solution is not going to replace creative, it's not going to replace creatives, it's not going to replace media planners, and it's not going to replace processes. It's going to make all of those better, but there are places where it can make things easier to the point where we may need fewer of certain types of individuals or fewer steps in a process, but we have to start with a goal and work backwards.
Matt, wanted to finish up with a question about measurement. We've seen the twin goals, sometimes opposing goals, of brand marketing and performance blurring the lines. Wanted to get your take on how you see the balance of there's the short-term aspects of of performance, and then there's the longer-term brand play at work. How do you balance those two poles?
The purpose of measurement is to make us smarter and help us learn the effectiveness of whatever it is that we're doing. Did this work? How many people did we reach? How many people bought something? So understanding those outcomes is going to help drive our long-term goals, but then working backwards, I look at measurement as a pulse. It's not about performance. It's about understanding trends. It's about understanding cadence and learning what impacted those ebbs and flows, those ups and downs. So at Genuin, we're looking at how content performs, where it performs, how it was created, but the goal is to potentially drive engagement, it's to drive conversion, it's to get people to spend more time interacting with content, or maybe each other. As we define those goals, measurement is the way we understand whether or not what we're doing is worth it, whether it's working, and how we just make it better.